I've noticed something that most of us do without realizing it. When a problem enters our life, something we can't quite control, our minds latch onto it like it's a puzzle we have to solve. We replay it, we dissect it, we look for every possible outcome, every what if, every version where things turn out differently. And the longer we think about it, the heavier it feels. Sometimes it's not even about the problem itself anymore. It's about our inability to let it go. We wake up with it, carry it through the day, and fall asleep still running simulations of how things should have gone. And in that loop, we lose perspective. Because the mind, when left alone with uncertainty, keeps trying to fix what isn't in its hands. I've been there too. When something didn't go the way I wanted, I couldn't stop thinking about it. It felt like if I kept replaying it, I could somehow undo it. But what really happens is the opposite. The more we think, the more powerless we feel. It's strange how our minds confuse thinking with control. We think that if we keep analyzing, we're doing something useful. But all we're really doing is exhausting ourselves. It's like trying to row against the current of reality. No matter how hard you paddle, you're not moving forward, just tiring yourself out. There's a quiet kind of suffering in that space, the feeling of being trapped inside your own thoughts. You're not fighting the problem anymore, you're fighting the idea of it. And that's where the shift begins. Because the truth is, not every problem needs to be solved right now. Some need to be faced, some need to be accepted, and some simply need to be walked away from. The mind doesn't like uncertainty. It craves resolution. The feeling that everything has a clear explanation, a clear ending, a clear path forward. When that doesn't happen, the mind begins to loop. It keeps circling the same thoughts, hoping repetition will turn confusion into clarity. It's not trying to torture you. It's trying to protect you. That obsessive thinking is the brain's attempt to make sense of chaos, to regain control. But what it doesn't realize is that not everything can be controlled, at least not from thought alone. Some situations live outside the range of logic, and the more you try to contain them with analysis, the more they slip through your hands. There's a concept I once read about in The Untethered Soul, how the energy of life keeps moving, but our resistance is what causes pain. We don't suffer because life moves. We suffer because we try to stop it from moving the way we didn't expect. It's like trying to hold your breath underwater. At first you can do it, but eventually you have to let go. When we can't accept what's happening, the mind keeps thinking as a substitute for action. It tricks us into feeling that we're doing something by worrying, replaying, overanalyzing. But worry is not preparation. Repetition is not control. They only give the illusion of progress while draining the energy we could have used to move forward. So the real question isn't, why can't I stop thinking about this? It's, what am I afraid will happen if I do? That's usually where the truth hides. Behind the need for control is fear. Fear of loss, of rejection, of failure, of the unknown. Once you see that, the grip starts to loosen. You begin to notice that not every problem deserves the same kind of response. Some require action, others require patience, and some just need to be released. That's where the three choices come in: confrontation, acceptance, or leaving. Each one has its own wisdom. Each one is a form of peace. When I started looking closer, I realized every difficult situation eventually leads you to a choice. Not a perfect one, not a painless one, but one that gives you back a sense of direction. It almost always comes down to three options: confrontation, acceptance, or leaving. The first is confrontation. This isn't about fighting everything that bothers you. It's about having the courage to face what's real. Some problems exist because we avoid uncomfortable truth. We silence ourselves to keep peace. We hope things will change if we just wait long enough. But confrontation is the opposite of avoidance. It's a willingness to speak up, to act, to look directly at what hurts. It doesn't mean aggression, it means clarity. It's saying, this is what's wrong, and this is what I can do about it. Sometimes the act of facing the problem head on brings peace faster than months of overthinking. It's not about controlling the outcome, it's about reclaiming your power to show up honestly. The second is acceptance. There are moments when confrontation won't change anything. Maybe the person won't listen. Maybe the situation has already passed. Maybe the door is closed. Acceptance isn't giving up. It's understanding that resistance costs more than surrender. You accept what you cannot change because your peace matters more than your pride. You stop replaying the scene. Not because you've stopped caring, but because you've realized that your energy belongs in the present, not in the past. Acceptance is powerful because it transforms the mind. When you stop fighting reality, you free the energy that was trapped in resistance. You start seeing the small things that are still within reach, the ones you couldn't notice while trying to fix what was already gone. The third is leaving. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away. Not in anger, not in defeat, but in wisdom. Leaving doesn't mean failure. It means recognizing when a situation has nothing left to offer your growth. You can love something deeply and still know it's not meant for you anymore. You can care and still choose distance. There's strength in that kind of clarity. The kind that says, I've learned what I needed to learn, and now it's time to move on. Leaving isn't escape, it's alignment. It's choosing the direction your life keeps calling you toward, even if it means stepping away from what's familiar. Those are the three choices: confrontation, acceptance, leaving. They sound simple, but they each require a different kind of courage. To face, to release, or to walk away. And when you understand which one your situation is asking for, you stop obsessing, you stop spinning, you begin to move again. There's an idea from the courage to be disliked that changed how I see control. Freedom is being disliked by others. It sounds unrelated at first, but it's really about acceptance. The moment you stop trying to control how people or situations respond to you, you begin to live authentically. The authors talk about task separation, the idea that there are things that belong to your task and things that don't. Worry begins when you cross that line. You can act, you can speak your truth, but how it's received isn't yours to control. That's what acceptance is. Knowing where your responsibility ends. Marcus Aurelius wrote something similar 2,000 years ago in Meditations. He said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He wasn't talking about detachment in a cold way. He meant that peace begins when you stop trying to rearrange the world to your liking. You can't decide what happens, but you can decide how to meet it. That's confrontation through awareness, a kind of spiritual courage that faces the truth without flinching. In the happiness hypothesis, Jonathan Haidt explains how the human mind works like a rider on an elephant. The rider is our rational thought, and the elephant is our emotional system. You can't control the elephant by shouting at it. You guide it through understanding and gentle direction. That's what leaving often requires. Not force, not rebellion, but redirection. When you've tried confrontation and acceptance, and neither brings peace, leaving isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's guiding your life where energy flows more naturally. And then there's The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest. She writes that our patterns of overthinking, obsession, and self-doubt are often misdirected survival instincts. The mind believes it's protecting us by worrying, but what it's really doing is keeping us trapped in fear. Her message is simple but powerful. Your new life will cost you your old one. Leaving behind the need for control often feels like loss, but it's actually the first breath of freedom. When you look at these teachings together, from ancient Stoicism to modern psychology, they all circle the same truth. Peace is not found by controlling more, but by trying less. It's not resignation, it's intelligent surrender. Knowing there are 3 ways to face a problem, confront it, accept it, or leave it, is one thing. But recognizing which one applies to your situation is where the real growth happens. So let's make this practical. When you feel stuck in obsessive thought, when your mind keeps looping over what someone said, what went wrong, or what you could have done differently, pause and ask yourself 3 questions. 1. Is there something I can do right now that could genuinely change the outcome? If the answer is yes, you're in the territory of confrontation. Take the smallest possible action that brings clarity. Not closure, just clarity. Send the message, have the conversation. Ask the question you've been avoiding. Action breaks mental loops faster than any analysis ever could. 2. If action won't change the situation, can I make peace with it as it is? This is acceptance. It's what you do when control has reached its limit. Try grounding yourself in the present moment. Name what's real, not what's missing. Notice your breath, your body, the space around you. Acceptance isn't giving up. It's turning your energy from resistance to presence. 3. If neither confrontation nor acceptance brings peace, am I allowed to walk away? This one's harder. It means choosing yourself, your peace, your growth, even when it feels like loss. Leaving can look like ending a job, a relationship, a belief, or even just a mental attachment. It's an act of trust that life continues beyond this version of the story. Try to see these 3 paths, not as reactions, but as skills. Each one asks something different of you. Confrontation asks for courage. Acceptance asks for maturity. Leaving asks for faith. If you can pause long enough to ask, which of these is mine to do right now? You'll already be out of the loop. You'll have shifted from being controlled by the problem to consciously responding to it. It doesn't mean you'll never struggle again. But each time you do, you'll know where to stand. Sometimes I think life keeps handing us the same kinds of challenges until we learn which response fits them. And when we finally do, the same problems stop coming back. Not because life got easier, but because we got clearer. There's a calm that comes after you stop fighting what you can't control. It's not loud, and it's not dramatic. It's quiet, like the air after rain. When I look back, every time I truly move forward, it wasn't because life suddenly made sense. It was because I finally stopped trying to bend it my way. I chose one of the 3. I faced it, accepted it, or left it. And that choice itself became the turning point. The truth is, peace doesn't come from fixing everything. It comes from learning that you don't have to. The moment you decide where to place your energy, life starts to meet you halfway. So if your mind is heavy tonight, if you're replaying the same scene, asking the same why, trying to control what's beyond your reach, remember this. You always have a choice. And that choice, no matter how small, is power. Maybe you confront the truth and speak up. Maybe you take a breath and accept what is. Maybe you walk away quietly and start again somewhere new. Whatever you choose, you're not giving up control. You're reclaiming it. And that's how healing starts. Not in certainty, but in direction. Not in force, but in awareness. Eventually, the things you couldn't control stop haunting you. Not because they disappear, but because you've outgrown the need to hold them. You begin to trust that peace isn't something to find. It's something you build. One clear, honest choice at a time.